Hello everyone, and welcome to our demonstration of Altium NS. My name is Damian Kirscher, Field Application Engineer at Altium. People may ask you, what is data management? If I ask everyone this webinar, I would probably get different answers. File management, version control, PLM. The reality is data management means different things to different people. It also has a wide range of effect on designers like you. So the more appropriate question is, what is data management in regards to the impact on you? Let's take a look at a typical daily workflow when it comes to design. You have to search your library and find the parts you need, apply those parts to your schematic, run an annotation process to populate your PCB. You may go through several revisions of your design and go again to the previous steps. At some point, you will hit a design review or milestone where you need to create and release output data like PDF, 3D view, BOM, assembly, and fabrication data. All through the process, there will be errors that needs to be addressed. A duplicate part, ERC, DRC, DFM issues. In the context of data management, this is what you care about. How does the implementation of any system or process change your workflow as a designer? We'll discuss this flow in more detail and why it's relevant in a minute. We are here today to talk about Altium NS. So exactly, what is it? A single source of truth for all your PCB design data that allow you to design with trusted, insightful information and release your design with confidence. In short, Altium NS helps to automate the daily work in progress associated with PCB design. So what does this mean for you? Let's take a further look and explore the Altium NS user experience. Altium NS is focused on 5 key areas relevant to the engineer doing design: security, find, apply, release, and correct. Does this look familiar? It exactly matches the designer workflow we discussed earlier when we talked about designer care when it comes to data management. Unlike other systems, Altium NS has been developed to match what you do as a designer. Let's take a closer look at these 5 use cases and the associated challenges with each. Data security is at the forefront of most companies' minds. How do you protect your designs from this no trade? Product copying, IP piracy, data corruption or loss, internal unauthorized access. Altium NS supports window credential, LDAP synchronization, and secure HTTPS protocol. This not only ensures your data is secure, but it can be easily managed by leveraging common qualified credentials across systems. As your company grows, the number of products and parts that are in your designs naturally expand. Can you quickly find the exact component you're looking for in your company's sea of parts? Do you always find the right package size? Can you do inclusion, exclusion, and range search of parametric data? Can you make buyer comparison during design time? Altium NS contains an advanced search engine allowing you to search across all part dependencies and save and share common part searches. Applying a component is more than just putting it into your design. How many years of content have you invested in? Are you able to leverage the best of what you have? Is it easy to apply the search data to your design? Are you reusing known goods schematic circuitry? Do you have template to help the creation of new part? Altium NS was developed with designer for designers to ensure the electronic workflow contains tools to help automate processes like part creation and request. Every engineer goal is to get a working prototype, but releasing the content required to get to a physical product is not that easy. There are normally a series of manual checks and balances that must be done, only further delaying the creating process. How complicated is your current design release process? How many steps are involved in your release process? Do you use a checklist to create and release all the required design content? Can you easily trace the history of a release? Altium NS interface and workflow is native to Altium Designer. It has a built-in release process which can generate all the content in a batch with a single click of the button. All release content is stored with a complete history, allowing you to identify revision, origin, and current state. Having to fix an issue in one design can be a problem, but having to correct an issue across multiple designs is a disaster. How do you prevent design issue and easily locate errors? Do you have an automated verification process to qualify design content before it's released? Can you find incorrectly created, obsolete, or duplicate component in your library and designs? Can you locate where all reuse blocks have been used in the case you need to update the circuitry? Altium NS has an automated verification process which include ERC, DRC, library and design compare to ensure the integrity of the data before any documentation or manufacturing content is created. All of the data is relational, providing reuse visibility to easily locate any part or reuse content. I will now move to the live demonstration of Altium NS. As a start, I'd like to remind you the 5 pillars we just have seen during the PowerPoint presentation. The security aspect, apply the data from the Nexus server into a design, searching for different data, and of course release with confidence and ensure the correctness of all the project. So let's start with the security. To work with the Nexus server, you will need to be authenticated into the server. We also provide HTTP, HTTPS protocol. Window credential can also be used to add some other layers of security, and keep in mind that the LDAP synchronization is also available if you would like to synchronize existing user groups from your Active Directory with the Nexus server. Now we are going to come back to the typical workflow of the engineers and creating a new project and see how to apply the different content of the Nexus server in a new project. So this new project will use a template. So we can see here we have different project templates that I have in my Nexus server. I will just go for this very simple project template and give a name also to my project. I'm also going to manage this project with the Nexus server. It means this will be all under version control. You can see here the details of the design repository. So let's create this project. The new project just get open. So we see here the different mark for the link with the version control system. I have already my project file, a schematic, and also a PCB file where I have already made some definition like the board shape, as you can see, or also the different design rules. So going back to our schematic, now I would like to place some component on the schematic. So let's have a look at our Explorer to see the content of my Nexus server. So we see already some component, but on the left here we have a folder structure that I created to arrange these different component families. Of course, this is something you can do by yourself, so it fits exactly the structure you have in your company. So having so many components in so many different folders is already a hard task to find the right component. So let's go over the search engine to look for a specific component. So here I see one of my components and what symbol is in use, what footprint, also the different parameters. And there are also some additional information at the bottom, like supply chain information. If I like to see some supplier information, we can see what supplier is able to deliver this component. So we can see here the availability, but we can also have a look directly at the pricing per quantity, how many this will cost for our design. So I would like to place now this component directly onto the schematic and build a very easy circuitry. So I'm placing 2 instances of this one. Then I will also care about the different connection like this, and I'll run an annotation just to avoid duplicates. Okay, this is now all good. So I'm going to pass all this information now to my PCB. So component is going to be added, signals as well. So let's execute that. And here we are on the PCB with our component. So let's place this over here, extend the room for the placement, and make a quick placement of these 2 components. I will also care about the routing. So here we just make a very easy project because we would like to focus, of course, on the Nexus server capabilities. So that's all good. Of course, I will need to have a look over here to my output jobs. The output jobs are also here in order to generate some data. So you can see here I have some validation output, some fabrication like ODB++, and some assembly output like pick and place, BOM, and so on and so on. So this is some output I will need to link directly with my project in order to generate all my data. So first I would like to save my managed project to commit everything into my version control system. So yes. So I need to add also a comment for my version control. So this will be my original project commit. Okay, so here we are going to see all the updates here on my output job, also on my project. So it's time now to proceed to the release of my project. So I enter the project releaser, and now we see here the different steps we're going through. We are first caring about the configuration of the vault, and then when we hit the release process, we're going to validate first our project and then generate all the data, and finally upload everything into the Nexus server. So first, as you can see, I need to make some configuration. No output job files has been assigned here to this container. So one will be used for fabrication output, the other for assembly. So let's make here the different assignment. This is the validation for my snapshot, then the fabrication with the ODB++, and finally the assembly output. So no warnings anymore, but I need here to enable this set of data so that it gets generated. So it contains automatically the project name plus the revision number. So before we proceed to the release itself, I will need to save once again my managed project. And here, of course, adding a comment. This is for my project release. Okay, it's all good, only green check marks. Now we are going to generate all these files with one single click. Clicking on prepare, we will start by validating our project and then generating all the output. So here everything passed, this is fine. So now we proceed to the generation of the ODB++ file and all the assembly files. Okay, so this is quite quick. Good. So now you see we are on the stage review data. It means we can click this link directly to open the files automatically, make a final check, and if we are sure everything is fine, then we are going to upload all the data into a Nexus server just by hitting here the release button and giving a comment. So now everything is uploaded to the Nexus server, and we can have a look at all this data within our panel. Yeah. So here I see my branch with all my projects. So I need to refresh that first. Yeah, so here is my Altium demo project, and it loads a kind of summary of all the information: who did that project, when we did it, what is the version number into the version control system, do we use assembly variant, and then of course here the first release we have made with my comment. We can also have a look at the snapshot over here to see what source file has been used for this project. Project parameters are also available over here. But if you want to have a look at the real data we have generated, I'm going to switch here to the classical view. We can see here all the data that were generated, like the ODB++ for my fabrication. Having a look at the assembly item, we find our pick-and-place BOM as well, and here the snapshot of all the source file. So I'm created this project, and if I want other people to work with that, I also need to proceed to the sharing. So for this I can check what are the permission on my project, and we can see here that it can be seen by everyone in my organization. So maybe I don't want everyone to have a look at this, but only some colleagues, so I will just remove this and add some other group of people. I have a group called engineers with my colleague, and they will not be able to edit that, but they have access so they can see the project and they can also proceed to some review. Good. Now we did discover that we had a problem after the first prototype using this capacitor. So I will need to directly edit and change some pad size on the footprint. So just to make sure I'm using the right component, I can also go over the children here for this one, and I see here my component. So let's navigate to this component. So here is our component. The idea will be to make a change to the pads of our footprint to ensure here the correctness of our project. So we'll just edit my footprint. So close the panel for now and make a change here to these two pads. So here we found out that we need some pad a bit smaller. So this is fine, we can save and also release. And because components are already using this footprint, Nexus Server has seen that and he proposed me here to update this three component. This is all fine. I will just add a new comment, and now we are also going to update this three component. So first we are going to have a temporary library with this three component, and you can see here that we have increased the revision number of this footprint, and this one has been already assigned to our component. So the only thing I need is to release also this components. Already succeeded. That looks all good. So let's close this, and now we can also update our existing project using this new revision of the component, because having a look at my component right now, it shows me a state use out of date because we just proceed to one change. So to make this update, I will go over the item manager that will check the content here in my project and also in the Nexus server. So it tells me both are out of date, so it's the same reference, and then I can directly update them to the latest revision and apply these changes. Yeah, So let's check once again into my property panel, up to date, and he's using the latest revision I've created. That's all good. So this is actually for one of my project because I knew this one is using that component. But of course, if you don't know exactly what project has been used with that component, you can also make a check. So I will again navigate to this same component. By making sure I have the right component, I will again use my children view, and he showed me now this component. So if I would like to check what other project is using this component, I can use the reuse capability to see that I have here another project which is using the same component, and also two other schematic to be reused. So it means I would need here to update this to schematic and also this other project. This action is not made automatically because we think that sometimes you would like to keep some project in an out-of-date stage, like old project that is not in production anymore, that you would just like to keep as a frozen version, and this is why you will need to update this manually. So we come at the end of this presentation, so I would like to remind you, of course, the 5 pillars of the Nexus server, which is the security, applying the design data into your project, release with confidence, using the search, and ensure also the correctness over all the project.